Let me like expand when we talked about like the black kids journey, especially in this world. Yes, let's go. Let me go through my experience, like the UK thing.
Yeah.
So let's say I grew up in Stratford. Yeah, multicultural. You already know about races as a kid. Yeah, it's not really like a main issue.
Yeah.
It's black hangs around with whites hanging around with blacks. So it's cool. Like I grew up like in the block, like in like East London. Like it was just ghetto as hell. Yeah. So then when I moved, so then my family moved to Kent. Fam, even in Stratford, it was like 5 of us in one room, and it was just not the thing. But then when we moved to Kent, we had a much bigger house. The guy thought I was rich. I thought I was popping because like, well, living in Kent, it was nice. I saw greenery as shit. Every face was white when I was walking.
That's every nigga when it comes to
yeah. But then, I was living like full of all just white people, and for them, like I was their token black kid. Like they wanted to live the black experience through me. Niggas were like, "Oh, can you rap for us?" No, like 100%. No, like, "Oh, can you rap for us?" "Oh, dance." "Oh, can you rap at the talent show?" "Can you do this?" "Do you know this?"
It's
you
hard
know
to
that?
it's hard to adjust. Come into a different environment, especially at a young age. Like I came from Lewisham at the age of 8-9 years old, and coming straight to a school where you are literally like the only black person
one of, like,
in your year, and within the whole school there's about 6-7 black people in the whole school, and you just happen to know half of them because they're all family friends, and you're just thinking, bro,
and that's why we all like
so
find
limited,
each other.
bro.
That's why we all become friends, because like we all have that same experience. But then like as we branch out with uni and we start working, we realize that it becomes way more subtle, because kids are ignorant about it, so they'll just ask you like certain ignorant things to your face, or you make like racial jokes to your face. But when like you get to the working world, you realize that people look at you differently, and like they'll just ask certain questions and expect something from you. And then like, let's say, like even if I'm taking train, like they'll just be like rude to you, and they would like follow you and think you don't have like a train ticket and stuff like that. And when you're it's the worst, because they're like they have this like ignorant thing about them. It's just like,
they don't know, but at the end of the day, it's fear of the unknown. Like they don't know what they're about to like come across. So they're gonna go based off what they've heard. Like when you as like when you as a white person, because we're not white people, you as a white person, you literally grew around white people your whole life. You've never seen a black person. You probably haven't seen that many colored people in your life. You finally come to a point where we've been introduced to a black person.
You got a lot of questions.
You got a lot of questions. You know what I mean? You're going to question a lot of shit. No, in fact, you're going to be using the kind of stuff that you've heard already and kind of making assumptions or coming up to conclusions about that person. That's, to be fair, that's natural. And let's face it, everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's just on different scales. So it's kind of like it is pure ignorance. Like I feel like, I know we're kind of going off topic here, but I feel like there's such a fine line nowadays between ignorance and racism, and people
mistake ignorance with racism all the time on social media. It bugs me all the time. That's
really
why everyone gets cancelled on Twitter because they say something that people could view as racist when it's just ignorance. The person does not know what is going on, and I don't like that type of like how we want to cancel everyone because they say a certain stuff, and that's just stupid as hell. But it's just, fam, that kind of things is jarring. But as I was saying, like even with the black experience, it's like when you come into the working world, you're stuck in the same situation where I was when I was like a kid going to school in Kent. As in, like, I'm just the only black person full of white people who ask that certain type of question. Even when we're talking to our boy Solomon gets that all the time when he's going to the corporate world, because he was saying that they will ask him like ignorant questions about his hair and blah blah blah, make jokes and expectations of it. So they try to keep that whole voice type.
Being ignorant, they're being racist. Like it doesn't change for them because they're stuck in the same environment. Like this is their environment. Regardless, like you don't realize how much as black people we have to adopt to different environments. Like them, they're comfortable in their environment. They don't have to change.
I don't want to
they ain't got to change. Like more time, we find ourselves having to change or having to adopt to different environments just in order to make a way for ourselves.
But the thing is, the thing is, I don't view that as a bad thing. It sucks that we have to do that, but I think it's on our benefits because like even when you call like a white person, you guys always have like a white voice. I think it's very important. Like I was saying, we evade those white spaces because if we actually want to change anything from the ground up, we don't just hang around with our kind. We hang around with like all different types of all different types of people. We go to all different types of events. Like we can't just solely just be hanging around with just black people, because I don't think that uplifts us at the end of the day to actually, if we are using the metaphor as a game, to actually beat the game. I don't think that works if we just partner with just black people. We need black people with stuff like we say is white. Even like doing certain shit would be like, oh, that's white people shit. No, that's not white people shit. That's not shit. I don't know.
People need to move beyond that. Really, like.
That's just shit, man. I don't like this conversion of white people shit.
It's true. I mean, like, do you not feel like, because not even just black people,
I used to call private school white people shit. Like,
yeah, it's true.
As a kid, I used to say that was white people.
Black people ain't going private.
Black people ain't going private school. I didn't know what private school was before I moved to Kent.
That's the thing.
I was like 11 or 12.
The majority of us are like at a disadvantage financially.
It's because we all come.
Do you feel like because we have to change so much, like, and going back to the previous topic, like, you know, because we're having to adopt so much, we're adopting our environment, it leaves space for us to be exploited.
Yeah.
The fact that we have to.
But yeah, say that again. Elaborate on it.
So kind of a thing where, because, you know, we can't necessarily be ourselves in like necessarily like a corporate world. Okay, I know what you mean. Environment
because we have to conform.
Yeah,
it means that we can be taken at an advantage. Like, it's like saying we're the ones that, let's say for example you, Emmanuel, you're the one that has to now conform. You have dreads, right? You're the one that has to cut your hair in with this. So basically, if you want this opportunity in this high place, you're gonna have to do everything that I say because I own you. Even if I don't own you, I own you. Like, you know what I mean?
And the thing is, they're not gonna say it to you in that way. They're gonna say it's professional. And the thing, that's what it's gonna be.
And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be said. It just exists. Like, you just know. It's just the way things are placed in this world.
It's an unspoken rule. The thing is, you guys are completely right. My girlfriend's mum, she works in like these corporations, and I remember she's getting me interview prep. She talked about about my hair, having to cut my dreads so it fits the European look, having to like speak a certain type of way, like I wouldn't speak to the man them. I can understand not speaking in slang, but you know how black people speak, not like quote unquote black people speak. Not even speaking this slang. Like, how comfortable I'm speaking with you right now. This is how I speak to anyone if I could. But because let's say I was talking to a white person, I have to change it. Yeah, not even just certain.
I know what you mean. But
not even the formal language, but you understand what I mean. But the thing is, you are completely right about having to conform, and you're right. That's how I have to do. But the thing is, I don't want to have to do that. It's not just us that conforms,
but we have to conform more. Like, there's more things that we have to conform to that is
that
is not really already like natural to us. Like, for example, other people. Let's say you got a white lad. You talks like a geezer like this. Yeah. Let's say you got some.
I don't think that guy would have to change anything.
No. Let's say you got a geezer like Darren. Yeah, that talks like that, right? He's gonna, obviously he's not gonna talk like that. But he doesn't have to do as much. Whereas us, we have to talk in a certain way. We have to have a certain look.
So we have to make ourselves look less threatening at the end of the day. Yeah. That's literally what I did at the train station when I was buying a ticket. Like, because I'm wearing a hoodie and my do-rag under, and I was wearing shorts with my socks and stuff like that. And I went to buy a ticket, and I bought a ticket from my phone. I had to collect the barcode, and my car wasn't working. So I was like, I had to talk to this guy like way nicer. You have to even tell jokes to make them feel comfortable. You have to cater to them, and it becomes a point where it's sad that you have to do it, but you have to do it so they don't look at you any other type of way. It's people might act like, oh, you don't need to do this, or you're just like blah 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 blah. It's not really that racist. You don't have to do that. The thing is, it's not an intentional racist thing that they're doing. It's just like an unknown program ignorance where they feel scared. So you have to like stroke their back a little bit, and I do it, but a certain part of me hates doing it, and I understand why you're saying that you lose a bit of yourself while doing that. But the thing is, as much as we can argue about all of this, change would be like a generational type thing. But I think there are things we could do to build upon that change.
There's some things that stay professional, and there's some things that, like, it's not even a case of where we're trying to act professional. We're literally just losing sense of ourselves, period. Right. So literally, what we were talking about earlier, how we change the way we change the way that we talk when we're in professional environments. That's an example or something where I feel like, regardless of what background you come from, right, or what kind of business you deal with, when you go into the corporate world and that kind of stuff, when you go into like financial institutions and stuff, like, you're gonna have to talk that kind of way, regardless of where you come from.
I agree with it. That's company policy. Like, corporate look like, fair enough.
Because I understand. At the end of the day, right, we need to all have like that one universal language, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it's gonna be. Like, let's be real. You now go get say like a Chinese native, whose English is his second language. You're not gonna go talk to slang. You go talk slang. You know what I mean?
Understand
English. That's something. That's just something that has to stay professional when you go into that kind of business. Yeah. But then after, there's other things where it shouldn't necessarily have to be the case, but because we have to conform, because we have to adapt in order to make ourselves look less threatening. You know what I mean? Like stuff with the hair. Like it's bogus at times. When
the thing is, it's kind of like, it's also a thing that women deal with in a sense as well. Yeah. Not just black people, in terms of the corporate world. Yeah. It's that, because like in the corporate world, it's a boys club, but it's a white boys club. It's also a boys club. So women have to put in that extra. They have to either put in that extra work, because we're having this conversation. Women have to put in that extra work because women know that there could be a potential if you're hiring a woman that's in the prime, let's say early mid-20s, that there could be a possibility that she gets pregnant, and if she gets pregnant, she'll take unless she's not working until she's going, she'll have like maternity leave and leave. So women have to work twice as hard, so they're noticeable. So if they do end up like getting pregnant, have maternity leave, the boss will feel like, that I don't want to lose her because she's such a hard worker, so she has to work twice as hard.
That's what I mean. Like, sticking with like back to the original topic, like with what you even just said there, like, we were talking about how, because obviously we're all black, we were talking about how with black people we may have disadvantages in what we do. You've even just mentioned how women have to go through the same thing. Like, it's the same thing. Like the corporate world, like, this is a bit mad, but I always look at like the corporate world, and we're not even corporate workers. We're like, as we are now, we're currently all still in uni even. But when I look at it, it's like, I feel like it's all playground stuff. I feel like it's just like a playground that's gone above. Like, they're all older and there's money involved now, and there's a lot more things at stake.
Or like the white males or the cool kids type shit.
Yeah, but no, but not so much. But just in the sense where it's like, it's kind of the same rules and the same things that's going on, more or less. It's just taking different forms in a sense. Like, just the fact that, not that there's white men or white males that are the coolest, but the fact that there is a coolest section, there is a section that's
there's a preferred section.
There's always parallels between each type of area, or like, what's the word I'm even thinking of now? There's parallels in each field that you are in, whether it's work, other work, education, like everything. I feel like everything's all parallel with each other.
All right, so let me ask you, man, this. So when talking about this is like exploitation or having to like alter ourselves, especially in the corporate world, do you feel like that's at any level, or not even just to black people? Like, when we talking about I don't even want to say low level crimes, or like these criminal businesses or these drug cartels, do you think that you find people changing themselves a lot more to
of course. And the thing is, I understand.
Do you feel?
You're saying that, like, on all levels in whatever field or whatever you do you think that there's people that are always having to change themselves to be able to do? And
I
get it.
I personally know people.
And I get it.
Not even like
I understand it.
Exploited.
I get it, and I understand why and how it happens. Regardless, like, because realistically, like I said, everybody in this life here, there's always going to be an agenda between, no matter what you say, there's always going to be an agenda and a reason why people do what they do in the most basic levels. You want to go to the toilet because you need to use the toilet. You want to just feel relaxed. In everything you do, there's always going to be an agenda behind it. And it's like, like you said, I understand it, because, like I said, even at the beginning, you're going to have to show them some people, like,